you said to turn on was that. You can hit record and we'll record it as well. That's all. Okay, I think you're good. All right, Jeff.
You guys are ready?
I think so.
All right, we'll bring the Howard County Drainage Board to order for November 3rd, and Mr. Byram will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is sign the minutes from the September 15th meeting. It'll be circulated around. And was there any additions or corrections to the October 6th minutes? Any additions or corrections? If none, then I would entertain a motion to accept the October 6th minutes.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Dodd and a second by Mr. Allery. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we need to leave the regular drainage board at this time and go into public hearing that was continued on the John Galbraith. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Bray and a second by Mr. Byram. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're in the public hearing at this time on the John Galbraith. I'm going to turn it over to the surveyor first.
So the John Galbraith regulated drain, this is a continuance from last meeting's hearing because a decision has to be made at the end of the hearing. So as far as, just to recap what we talked about at the last public hearing was, there has been several complaints on the Galbraith watershed. This board asked me to take a look at it and try and get something accomplished. The proposal that I put forth was a relatively large increase for 3 years, which was a total increase to the watershed of $50,000 each year for the next 3 years. What that would do is cover the debt of the watershed and bring in enough revenue to hire an engineering firm to come up with some solutions, 3 or 4 different options on how to fix the watershed, and then to pay for one of those solutions to be developed into a reconstruction by the end of that 3-year time period. And at the end of the 3 years, the watershed assessment would be reduced to a minimum fee of $100 and a total annual assessment of $13,000. One caveat to that that I did mention in our hearing was after the first year, the first years of collection, the engineering firm was going to provide us a list of options, different ways we can go about moving forward. And taking that back to the watershed in a town hall meeting after that first year to see which direction the owners of the watershed would want to move. And if none of those options were valued or wanted to be pursued, I did leave open the option of reducing the annual assessment after the first year down to that $13,000, and we just continue to keep the watershed flowing and band-aiding it as we have been doing for years and years. So those were the options that I put out. I know we didn't come to an agreement at the last meeting, but I have no new information. So that's all I have.
How much additional is it on each homeowner if we do the 1-year assessment? Do we know?
It depends on, each property is different.
Okay.
So in other words, instead of collecting, you'd be collecting $50,000 over the entire watershed for those 3 years, or 1 year, instead of the $13,000. If we did not want to move forward with a solution or trying to find a new solution for an entire watershed fix, I would encourage you just to go to raising the assessment to the lowered amount of $13,000 with a $100 minimum fee. And that will let us recover the debt that the drain is currently in, and it would give us some funds each year to continue to fix the problems that arise. Tree roots come up every year, we have to rod the drain. We have some issues on the north side of the road where we have riprap blowing off, and just small things to keep water flowing.
So is that fee charged per acre?
It is not a per acre price, no, it's land use, soil type, and a minimum fee.
Okay.
I didn't do an assessment roll for that reduction. We normally do that assessment roll at the end of the term, and everyone sees their bill come down. But everyone was notified for the meeting on the higher assessment for the $50,000. So each parcel will have what they would be paying at that rate. And then everything, when it's reduced, there's a different requirement for reduction. So that's why I don't necessarily run that.
So they wouldn't know until then?
Correct, on what it turns out to be, that's correct.
Is a $100 minimum anywhere near an average?
Right now, it is, for the higher assessment, we have it set at a $300 minimum. And that's what we set Brookshire at, was $300. Marion Monroe is a $100 minimum. That was the last large reconstruction we did, and that's their annual assessment, is a $100 minimum plus the land use and soil type.
And what would this minimum be?
If, from what I'm asking, what the hearing was on was for a $50,000 increase for a total watershed collection of $50,000. The annual assessment would be $300 minimum plus land use and soil type. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to try and answer it. But I've exhausted everything I know on a solution, and they are all extremely expensive from what I can see. So that's why I said the next option is to bring in a engineering firm that we use a lot and see what they can come up with, because I don't have any other options. But that was based upon the board wanting me to do something, so that was the best I can come up with.
Any other questions for Greg? If not, then we're gonna go to public comment. But I am gonna put some caveats on public comment tonight, because this has been discussed and discussed and discussed and discussed. And I'm gonna limit it to 3 minutes at a time. And you get 3 minutes, and you can give your concerns, and we don't wanna hear things over and over and over, but we would entertain public comment at this time.
And if you would, state your name and address for the record.
Chris Markowitz, 1889 Northampton Drive, lot 28. I'll try to be as quick as I can. I did some research on my own. Can I bring these up to you?
Sure,
For the record?
absolutely.
This is page 1A from the county records. I think the surveyor mentioned at the last meeting that these are, it's stuff from Purdue University, it's like within three feet. This is lot 30, it's Josh's. 2015 area photo. I think he moved in 2016. Look along the left side there, right up, you can see John Galbraith, there's his property line. I'll bring this up here, area photo. 2024. He's planted a minimum of 30 evergreen trees along that. It's right over John Galbraith's. Next one is his neighbor. Shelley. survey,
Thank you.
2018 aerial photo. See, there's not many trees along the side, which abuts Josh's. ...2024 aerial photo, same property line. Trees are much taller. Two thousand 2015 aerial photo. I don't know the exact names of the homes, lot 37 and 38. We've got the arrows pointed to it. Oh, here, pass those down. Sorry to get a little bit blurry on photos. I got the arrows pointing to it.
You want to see these?
2024 aerial photos. You can look at the picture where the arrows are pointing to it. More trees right along the property line. As you can see, it's right over John Galbraith.
This is bigger tree, smaller tree. I'll be contributing to the problem.
Page 4A, lot 38, lot 39 are empty lots. As you can see, the arrows pointing right over John Galbraith drain, empty lots. (2024) house is built. Look at all the trees right over John Galbraith. I got a letter which I'd like to read. This is from my neighbor across the street. This is right next to Shelley. And 2 doors down from Josh and his wife. This is to the Cotswold Hills Homeowners Association, Howard County Drainage Board. I'm writing on behalf of Sebastian family, owners of Lot 32, Cotswold Hills neighborhood, regarding the proposed increased assessment to John Galbraith drained watershed. I was unable to attend the meeting October 6 hearing, and I also unable to attend the meeting today, November 3rd, 25. However, I want to make it clear, we strongly oppose the proposed action. When we purchased our property, we invested over $20,000 to remove trees and repair the drain tiles on our lot. These improvements were our responsibility, and since then, we have no issues with the drain or flooding. Even though the record-setting floods in June 25, our property is much of the neighborhood drained efficiently. In my view, basing our assessments of watershed's action on an isolated, extraordinary weather event does not accurately represent an ongoing reality of the area. We are also strongly displeased with the HOA's involvement in publication of an article in the Kokomo Lantern describing the Cotswold Hills neighborhood as underwater. I have no idea how the Kokomo Lantern, Pat Muncy, got to a meeting saying Cotswold Hills is underwater. I didn't know about that until after the last meeting, and that was published in July, this past summer. In our opinion, the statement does not reflect the reality of the shared perspective of the majority of residents. We strongly feel that such an inaccurate and exaggerated claim, when shared publicly, could discourage the potential buyers and negatively impact the overall properties of the community. We also believe it is unfair to impose a broad neighborhood-wide assessment based on the concerns that may be limited to a few properties. Each property should be evaluated individually before assuming that all homeowners are experiencing the same issues. I live only 2 houses down from the most vocal supporters of this proposal. Yet our experiences with drainage are completely different. We ask that both the HOA and Drainage Board reconsider the proposal and take into account that all properties within the watershed are experiencing drainage or flooding problems. And that's signed by the Sebastian family across the street. So before you spend a lot of money, I think the homeowners, especially if they're hooked in, they have a perimeter drain and they're hooked into the John Galbraith, they take it upon themselves to alter out, the drain going to the John Galbraith, because I'm sure that they have roots. You can see all the trees that were planted since 2015, 2018. I think that's what's causing the problem. Instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars and maybe eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars to engineer and dig up and, spend a bunch of money that may not even help it if it's roots going over John Galbraith, north of Northampton Drive. I thank you for your time, and I'm still against it.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is John Kelly, it's John-Kelley. I live at 4160 Lake Windermere Lane. I guess this first question, I got three quick questions, depending on what the answer to the first one is. So I think this is for Greg. What are the specific problems that the engineering firm would be chartered or whatever tasked with trying to solve? Do we have a clear list of the specific problems? I know Josh has had some problems. We had a complaint maybe by Ronkin as the stones or whatever down in the back, but what are the specific problems that you would be chartering someone to try to fix?
So the main problem of this watershed is the capacity of the existing tile network system. So in other words, you have several tiles coming into your subdivision and a small tile leaving your subdivision. So therefore, that it creates a bottleneck, and that's where you see a lot of the problems at the pond.
Okay, and that was originally done just the way it was originally designed?
Unfortunately, it was originally designed that way, yeah.
Okay, so follow-up question, and what is the probability that whatever is done, whatever the engineering firm, whatever options they come up with and whatever they might propose, what in your estimation would be the probability that whatever is chosen would resolve, let's say, Josh's issue?
I would say that increasing the capacity of the network system would reduce the occurrence of what is happening in your subdivision. I won't say that it will ever eliminate it. It will definitely reduce it to a specific storm event.
Okay, and my last question, is there something that could be done to Josh's lot or house that would be a better solution to his problem? Maybe that's not a good question for you, but I think it's fair to ask, since if you're going to spend X number of thousands of dollars to have someone else come up with a solution, is there something that could be a more local solution that would cost less, even though it might be out of his pocket?
We've talked about local solutions with different owners, and I've given them all the same information on what can be done, what they're welcome to try. So, I mean, we've had those conversations with many individuals, yes.
So there are
There's
possibles.
There's
other
always possible
solutions.
solutions, yes, but I don't know that, to what extent are we going to reduce the occurrence with those solutions? That's really what your question is, and I don't know that I can answer that.
Okay, that's all I had, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Kent Williams. I live at 4432 West, 400 South. I'm here to represent my mom, Carolyn Williams. She owns the 20 acres between Salisbury's Nursery and the storage units. And our concern, and I spoke with my mom, I was at her house today, and I spoke with her, and she and I both, I believe I submitted the formal objection in the last meeting, and our concern, and really what we're wanting to see, is my mom's property removed from this watershed. It's never been in the watershed. The front part of the field was in no watershed prior to September 24th of this year. The back part, a portion of it, was in the Highland, what is that? Hollis Morris, yes, thank you, Greg. Watershed, and so we're requesting that her property be removed from any of this discussion going forward. Again, I think I put our concerns there. As I said in the last meeting, there is no tile that leaves her property going south or north or east or west. And the water, I know Mr. Salisbury mentioned that, as he saw this year, the water, it just sits on that field in the back, flooded the crops out. Same in the front, there's about an acre or two there, it just sits. The water does not move off that property. Obviously it goes down and things like that. So we're requesting that that be addressed as a part of this decision tonight, because even if it's a reduced fee now, the probability still remains that if there is an extremely expensive solution to this, that's going to be an undue burden on my mom. And I think I mentioned the significant portion of her cash rent that would be taken as a result of any potential really expensive solutions. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to remove her property from that. Any questions or anything regarding that? Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would have one
Yeah, go ahead.
comment for the board,
Go.
just so that you understand. The board doesn't set the boundaries of the watershed by statute, it's the county surveyor. And we do have a process in place if someone disagrees with the boundaries of a watershed. And I understand what you're saying. My particular situation, just so the board understands, just because we've done it wrong for years and years doesn't mean we should continue. We now have information that shows this particular lot is, with the better information we have, we can get closer to the ground truthing. So we do have a way to get you out of that, but it basically would be you hiring a hydrologist to show that the boundary that we would be providing is incorrect.
So once again, government is taking my time, my mom's time, and spending our money. And like I said, the last time, this farm's been in our family close to 100 years. That's just not acceptable. And when you look at the water, I don't know how it even gets to the watershed. Because even if it were to go down 26, it gets to the corner. It doesn't go south, because that ground goes up.
No, it goes north and then back east into the pond of the apartment complex right there. There's a little basin. That's where all that
So I
water
guess
goes.
then here's my question. My question is this: based on what you've told me, that there was a 2-foot contour map laid over her property, and that put her in the new watershed. My question would be this:
It's a 6-inch watershed. It's a 6-inch contour now, yes.
okay, so has that 6-inch contour been applied to every single acre and every single property in Howard County, and has all the watersheds been adjusted accordingly and reassessed?
As we move forward, we are doing that.
So
yes.
it's not been done yet, but
As-
you're doing it to her property, but not all properties.
As
I
we-
think that to be, that's not, I don't agree with that at all.
As we move forward, because of the massiveness of this type of undertaking, when we move forward in each watershed of the assessment increase, we review that and make those adjustments.
So if the property wasn't even in watershed in the front, I don't know how the water gets to the watershed. It doesn't get there. I don't know how to even get under 26. It sits there. I mean, if you walk out to the farm, you see it rain, and that water will sit there for 2 or 3 weeks before it goes down. I fundamentally disagree with this decision, and my mom shouldn't even have, my mom and I shouldn't even have to be involved with this mess that was not created by her. And like I said, the property's been in the family a long time, and I believe it to be an undue hardship on her, even having to deal with this. And so it may be a massive problem, but until it's applied to all property owners at once, I don't believe that's equitable. So that's our opinion, and strongly object accordingly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jay Kaushal, and my wife Nirmala Kaushal. Two questions. Number one is very similar to the gentleman who was here before me. Actually, my property is next to him. So if you're coming, first will be Salisbury, and then this gentleman, his property, and then my property, which is American Storage. And what I wanted to emphasize is that for this American storage, we have already developed that area. It's all developed, approved, everything. And what I wanted to emphasize is that we have very large detention ponds, retention ponds, whichever you call them. And a large area of our property is dedicated to retention ponds. And what I wanted to emphasize is we do not have any problem with water runoffs. We do not have any problems with floodings. Whatever water issue is in our area, it is taken care of by the huge amount of money that we have spent on detention ponds and retention pond. So please keep that in mind. So, because we have already spent a lot of money doing retention ponds, as you know very well. So for the same reason, I would request that ours be taken out, because there is no issue there. So that's number one. And then number two, what I wanted to ask you is this, that we have two properties. One is this property, American Storage, you probably have seen it. The address is 2109 West, 400 South. So that's one property. The other property is on the north east corner, Timber Valley Drive, residential area. We live there. So my concern is that, I will get double hit. I will have to pay taxes for American Storage on the south west corner property, and then I will have to pay taxes on my residence, which is also in that watershed area. So I wish that there was some better, fairer, equitable way that everybody pays their taxes and don't have to pay it double.
But you own two pieces of property.
We own
right?
two pieces of property. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Reed, 1846 Hunter's Cove Circle. I think isn't there two issues here? I wanted clarification, Greg. Wasn't money already spent for some repairs down
Absolutely.
there? And
The ditch is in debt, yes.
and that needs to be paid by,
It needs to be recovered, yes.
okay. And you're proposing, what, a minimum of $100 per year?
The
So that's
current,
paid off.
the current proposal was a 3-year increase at $300 minimum fee, and it will collect $50,000 across the entire watershed for 3 years. And then it would be lowered to a $100 minimum fee and $13,000 collected as an annual assessment.
What's the repair bill?
Currently, the watershed, I think, is just under,
16,000.
yeah, just under 17,000 in the red. 16,164 in the hole
A
currently.
little over a year and 2 years would take care of that, of the $100 minimum.
At the $13,000 rate?
Yeah,
Yes,
13,000.
we would recover the debt. It would take 2 years to
2
recover
years,
that.
okay. And the other concern, unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate, some people have in Cotswold Hills, walkout basements and patios. They built them in what appears to be a floodplain. And I don't feel that all the other 50, 60 people that's not really affected by that unusual rain should have to pay a huge bill to try to correct where a few people maybe made some errors in constructing their walkout basements. So, I don't know if there's other issues with that or not, but that's the most obvious issue to me driving through that, they've got some walkout basements down through that ravine that created some problems. So, okay?
Thank you.
This is for Greg. Have you ever suggested drains where the walkout basements are? And they have a-
We have augured the John Galbraith drain. Yes, the regulated drain is open and free flowing.
pump off from like Josh's house or?
That's been suggested to each of those owners, yes.
Have they done it?
I don't know.
Okay.
My name is Shelley Lehman. I live on 1896 Northampton Drive. I just want to clarify for some of the audience members who haven't been here for months on end talking about this issue. This flooding issue started 2 years ago in 2024 when the input drain from the field collapsed. And then a new drain was installed that was twice as big as what was originally was there. In over 30 years, there's never been a flooding issue in this community, in this subdivision. Has nothing to do with the trees in the back that have been there for 25 plus years. It has not anything to do with the walkout basements that have been put in over 25 to 30 years. That's not the issue. It was the drain that was put in under Dixon Road when it collapsed was put in twice as big as what was originally there. So now we don't have a slow flow of water. We have a gush of water. And when we get these quote-unquote 100-year floods in 24 and 25, almost a year apart, that's when the drains flooded, the roads shut. So it's not an issue that has been previously mentioned, and you would know that if you had been to these meetings prior in all these months that we've been talking about this. That's what I just want to clarify. I understand what the board is trying to do to recoup their funds, and I don't have a problem with that because I know personally, talking with Greg and the board, that we are underwater with that, quote unquote, fee to replace that drain. My concern, and has always been my concern, and the voice that I've been saying is that big pipe that was put in 24 is the issue. That road is still collapsed, and it's been reported. The sinkhole is still there. The drain is still collapsed and not been repaired in all of these months when I brought it to your attention in June. So I'm not sure what the delay is there. That's part of an issue that needs to be addressed because Dixon Road still has that hazard of a big hole that a car could go off into and really hurt someone. I don't understand why that has not been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want me to answer that?
Yes.
That's a city problem. It's in the city drain. The city has been out and looked at it. They potholed down to the drain and said, yep, fiber line's in the tile. And beyond that, I would tell you to talk to the city.
Thank you.
Nobody else in the neighborhood knew about it until you got the letter for the October meeting. It's been more or less kept a secret all summer long.
Others for public comment? If not, I'd like to read this into the minutes as well. This is from Andrea Campbell. Notice of public hearing on the increased assessment of John Galbraith Drain. To whom it may concern, I received a letter from the Howard County Surveyor regarding the John Galbraith regulated drain and the need to potentially reconstruct in order to improve the capacity. I would like to object and disagree with the benefactor. I do not have a problem with the assessment, but I do with the 1.48 benefactor applied to it. Part of the acreage owned is not farmed, and I have no crop loss or issues because of the tile. Please feel free to call or email with questions. Thank you. Okay, questions from this board, comments from this board, or actions from this board?
Greg, I just need to ask your opinion as a professional surveyor. The lady talking about that drain being so big, creating a rush of water now, is that part of the problem?
So, yes and no. So the problem with the drain being collapsed underneath Dixon Road for as long as it has been is part of the reason why the farmers on the west side of the road have called year after year complaining about not being able to drain their farm fields and not getting the crop that they expected with additional tiles that they put in. So when the road did collapse, we found the serious problem was there's two 15-inch tiles and a 12-inch tile all coming to one point. So with that being said, the tile that we installed, we shoehorned it between a 12-inch gas main, a 12-inch water main, and a bunch of fiber lines. So that's all we could get to fit through there. The main thing that most individuals are seeing is when I put that tile in, I brought it up higher than the current normal water elevation of the pond. Because I didn't drop the nose down, I just brought it straight through all of those utility lines. So you can see the outlet of that tile now. We also put an inlet riser on the west side of the road. So the two rain events that occurred during the time period that has created some of this issue, surface water could get into that tile instead of running to the two surface pipes on the road. And those two surface pipes outlet into the pond at the same location, except they outlet at or below the water line. So you don't see the volume of water coming in. With the new pipe, you can see it. Whenever it rains, you can see that pipe flowing water. The other pipes are flowing water as well, but you can't see it because they're at or below the water level.
So is the volume still the same?
The volume should still be the same, yes. Is it getting there quicker? Yes, because it now is not restricted underneath Dixon. It is a functioning pipe instead of being a collapsed pipe. So, yes, water's moving, but I think being able to see it makes a huge difference.
So it's not a matter of restricting
We're,
that flow?
correct, we are no longer restricting the flow from the upper part of the watershed. It's flowing correctly, finally. I think even in our last meeting, the gentleman that set up here, he was very upset because he spent thousands of dollars tiling his fields the other direction because he couldn't get drainage. Because the Galbraith drain would not drain. It held too much water. So he took his water the other direction. And that's why. We did not know it was broke underneath Dixon until it blew up.
So I guess my question is, restricting the flow would not necessarily solve the problem.
It would create problems for the people upstream of the restriction. Absolutely.
The farmers.
Did the people on the west side find relief after we changed the pipe?
I believe so.
I haven't had any trouble. I ditched it, I don't know, 10 years ago, and I haven't had any trouble. But when I put the ditch down to that ditch, it's exactly what he was saying. The tiles was too small, there was only one tile, and he's got them all hooked back in right. You know. That, I don't think that by doing the tiling I did, keeps the water level down. But before, when I got the farm, it stood in water, plus crops, so when I ditched all of it, that keeps the water level down. And when you get a rain like we got this spring, you know, you just can't stop the water.
Yeah.
That said, it's helped out a lot, you know. But I don't think that's putting more water over on Copwood because the water comes off those fields and those fields have pretty good grade. And so the water's gonna move fast once you get saturated ground and get a 7-inch rain. It's just gotta go down. And the nice thing about the way this water works, and because I've lived around here all my life, is where the houses are in the waterway where the surface water goes, it's got a fast flow, and it gets out there, gets fast. I mean, that 7-inch rain, or how much they got, will be gone within just hours. But that water's gonna go as fast as it can go. When it went over the road, And I got another farm just around the corner from that, and the creek that this water goes to is completely out of the banks, going out over the road. So I really think that the whole system works good. And I think somebody even said, when you get a rain like we got this spring, and I've been around there all my life, and that's one of the biggest rains, except for 1, 2, or 3, where we got 12 inches that night. And since then, we haven't had that problem.
And there's just nowhere else for that water to go.
No, it's gonna follow the topology of the ground. It's gonna go to the low.
There's no other way that you can direct this water. I mean, I know a lot of questions on the last thing, but there is no way you're gonna, I mean, I don't know how many years ago that Ellsworth addition started, and the design was to make it pretty and with the landscape and all that, but they,
I think it was 93. I think it went in 92 or 93.
and there, anytime you get a flood at that time, you're gonna have some discomfort. The one that's got the patio, I asked him, I said, how much water come in the basement, and you know, 2 or 3 feet, how long did it take to get out? Just an hour, 2. I mean, it goes that fast. I mean, we've got good grade, it gets away from there. And if you stand in the middle of that waterway, you've got worked away on that. The percentage of the tile goes to the ditch, don't you think, Greg? I mean, year in, year out, most of the time, we don't have much surface water go underneath it.
I think that pond, there's usually surface water flowing, and it will not get back into the tile on the north side of the road once we get to about a 2-inch rain event. It starts flowing over land through the subdivision at a very low rain event, unfortunately.
But it don't last too long.
I don't think so, because there's no throttle on the pond. I mean, the pond's got 2 massive pipes. It's just a straight, that pond is not a detention basin. It is a straight flow-through pond. So all the water, every drop that goes in, it comes out at the same rate.
I mean, I've been out there when that water's flowing, like you said, and that swell, that goes down towards 26, and I mean,
There's a lot of-
wash away.
There's a lot of grade to that.
Yeah, I think even at the culvert on 26, in that big rain, probably couldn't take it all. You know, but it goes fast.
It goes fast.
31 had 60 acres, and, you know, with all the rain this spring down there, part of the ground I got down in Mark Marietta, that lake, there's a 60-acre lake, and it rose several feet, you know, because of it. And I don't know what problem you could solve in that, because I bet one guy said, well, I lived there for a long time and never had any water. That's a pretty good example of what we're trying to cure was a big flood, and you're not gonna cure that. And, you know, with the amount of money that's coming in, he said it's within 2 years, it's gonna pay off. I don't see where we need to add a lot more money to pay an engineer to come back and say, well, you've got an 18-inch now, and I'm gonna need a 24-inch, because I don't think it is.
Okay,
Well, we had an inch of rain last week, one day, Josh, then we had some more the next day. Did you have water in your basement?
No, he calls me every time we get an inch of rain, but it's gotta come down hard.
You're on a speed dial.
What did we get the first time I called you? I had water in my basement, 2.6, 2.7?
Oh.
First time I called you?
Yeah, it was around 2 inches, I think
So
is
it
what you
wasn't the
said.
7-inch rain that got my basement the first time. And we're talking in the back doors, not out of my sump, in my back doors, over my yard, in the back door. That was 2.6 inches of rain that came down hard. Like he said, it's a rush, and I can't do anything about that. I removed my perimeter drain from the equation, by the way. So it's not part of the problem.
You can't design it for 7, 8 inches.
So what I'm worried about is the water coming at me. Not the water coming down on me or anything like that, it's coming at me. And if you've been out there and seen it, you know how hard it goes.
I've got a place over at my place and I thing, and when you get that kind of rain, I lost 70 acres in a field because of that much rain. There's no way, you know, if this topsoil, ever how much rain you're gonna get coming off those fields and stuff, there is nothing, no engineer could ever keep it from going the way it's gonna go. Can't do it. Been around.
I'm pushing 30 years there, and it's only come over the road twice.
Yeah, see here? And it's 30 years twice. And how big a rain? Big rain.
And that was last year and this year when they put in the new pipe after 24, is when that
First-
addition was.
First time was in early 90s. Second time was what, last year?
In 24 and 25, we've had water over the pond.
Well, I think clearly what we have is some of the residents want something done and some of the residents want nothing done.
I have a basement, I don't have any.
So it certainly puts the board at a tough position.
I do have a question. Is it okay if I just sit here or come up here?
Come on up.
So, again, Kent Williams, I do have a question for you, Greg. How does the water get from the south side of 26, there at 26 and Dixon, to the north side of 26?
So it flows from that field that we're talking about, that front, it flows to the east to the intersection. There's a culvert that goes north underneath the intersection to the north
Where's that
side.
culvert? Because I took pictures of it and there's no, I don't see any culvert.
Yep, there's a culvert just before the stoplight that runs north and south. So the water runs to the north, it flows north up to
Where does it cross 20? Where does that culvert cross 26?
right before the stoplight. It's right, there's
So I have
a
a
culvert there.
So I have a picture here. And you're gonna have to show me where that's at, because I don't see it.
So, I don't think I can see it in that picture.
That's,
So this that comes down,
Yeah.
brings water, this is coming from the south.
yes.
To that point, there's a culvert that runs under this road to the other side.
Well, I will tell you, I was standing down there in that ditch and I saw no culvert. There was no culvert there, so I don't know how it's getting across. I mean, you'll have to show me where the culvert is, because I walked that ditch and I didn't see it, so.
Okay.
That's my only question.
Okay, folks, what's this board's wishes at this time?
It's obvious we're not gonna please everybody, whichever way we go. Rick, do you think this is gonna solve the problem if we do this reassessment?
No, I think you're gonna tick off everybody in the watershed.
But still not solve the problem?
And still not solve the problem. That's correct. I think to solve all of the problems, the cost is gonna outweigh the benefit.
You know, with that being said, I can't see us doing this reassessment, and not solving the problem. I just don't see that. That's my thoughts on it.
Is that a motion to not do the reassessment?
I would ask the board to raise the assessment to the lowered amount. So in other words, instead of going to the 50,000, if that's what the board's choosing to do, I would ask you to raise the assessment to the 13,000 with a $100 minimum fee, land use and soil type.
I'll make that as a motion.
Pay back the debt, what you're doing.
That's to pay back the debt and to bring in enough money to continue to Band-Aid the problems as they arise. Because we are going to have problems as time goes on. Every year, we have to go out and run a rod trailer to try and cut tree roots out of the drain.
So I got a motion by Mr. Dodd as read by Mr. Lake. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Byram. Any other discussion?
Could you read the motion again? I'm not sure I heard all what he said.
I'm not sure exactly how
The
it was said.
assessment would be set at $13,000
Okay,
as an annual assessment. The minimum fee is $100, and the methodology would use a minimum fee, land use, and soil type in the calculation.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So I got a motion by Mr. Dodd, a second by Mr. Byram. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Yes, yeah, everyone will get a letter of the order with their assessment in that order. So you'll have a dollar amount associated with the $13,000 annual assessment.
We need to close this public hearing and go back to the regular drainage
So
board.
moved.
Motion by Mr. Byram,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Olery. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
New business was supposed to be the John Downhauer regulated drain fast track reconstruction, but that has, owners have requested this be moved to the November 17th meeting.
Thanks, Tom.
Adoption of the 2026 calendar.
Move to accept.
Second.
Motion to accept by Mr. Dodd, second by Mr. Olery. All in favor say aye.
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 Any other business in front of this board? Any public comment? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Byram and Mr. Dodd, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.